Hey everyone, it's Erin Saxton, that girl from Jersey, and with me today are two really special people in my life. We have Cornell Thomas, and he is the author of this amazing book, Extraordinary, The Difference Between Good and Great. Technically, it says the distance between good and great. But as you know from my chat with Cornell in an earlier episode, he and I really get right down to it, into the nitty-gritty. We also have Jenny DePaul, and I sit on Jenny's board and of Project Kind 123. But for the real cool hipster folks like I, and now you, we just say Project Kind. Welcome, guys.
Hi,
Hey.
Erin.
These intros are always so dorky.
I love
it.
They're just dorky.
Don't ever change it. Never
Okay.
change it.
I probably couldn't.
Good.
Right? So I don't know which one to start with. So let's just, welcome back.
Thanks for having me back.
You're welcome.
It's been so long.
I know, right? Do I look thinner?
You look way thinner,
I
and you
know.
look even better than last time,
Thank you.
which I thought was impossible.
I got my hair cut a little bit.
It looks great. I
Thanks.
love what you do with the back of it. The weave is off the hook.
You know, I do sometimes put hair sticks extensions in.
I used to.
You used to do that?
Never.
No?
No, I was just joking. Come on.
Everyone gets hair extensions now. And eyelash extensions.
Yeah, not
And color gels.
and butt lifts.
No one's real anymore. And I'm the grand leader of it all.
Yeah. Okay. So you have all that stuff done.
I will go fake as fake could be if
Yeah.
it makes me look better.
So you go into the shop and you say, "I want all the stuff," and they just give you everything.
I'm like a car wash. Like I'm like the monthly car wash
Yeah.
subscription. Like I just go in and I'm like, I'm ready.
And they
And I just lay there and
Yeah.
you just like, they'd plaster me if I could be looking better. Jenny, like never. So
Just like, why am I here? Like, why did
Jenny's
I
like,
come in when I
I'm
set
supposed
up?
to be helping people. I'm supposed to be a good person, and Erin's going so surface on me. Blah, blah, blah. All right, Jenny. We'll start with you. Jenny, you help so many people. Tell everybody out there what you're doing, why you started doing it, and what kind of help can we give for you?
Okay, so Project Kind started really about 6 years ago. I was sitting with my family and we were talking about what it meant to live out your purpose. So we were having this conversation on a family meeting, and we came up with a few things that we believed that were true and that we wanted to try and live out. And together we decided to try and be a reminder to people that they were worthy of love and had purpose. And we started Project Kind. It kind of started like right there in our living room.
Really? And where do
Yeah,
you
so-
live? New Jersey, perhaps?
Absolutely, yeah. New Jersey, Rockaway. We live, been there my whole life and raising my kids there. So, yeah, so we started doing outreach, just going to Newark was where we started out, and just kind of getting to know the people there, people experiencing homelessness, with the hope of reminding them that they were loved. And then we started creating opportunities for people to join us. So there's so many ways you can help. We would offer the opportunity to provide food or toiletries or donations for housing, and it kind of just grew from there.
And you drive around New Jersey in this like really pimped out, kicked out
It is pretty
minivan.
It is, yeah.
So tell us that story. How did that come about?
So Toyota donated this van to us and put all the signage on it. But the story behind that is we were featured in a State Farm Neighborhood of Good campaign, and they came and made a video about our family and what we were doing. They contacted Toyota and said, could you gift the DePauls this van for their outreach? And happened to get on the phone somebody I went to high school with. So he knew of us.
Wow.
And so within, I think it was 48 hours, they were able to provide us with this van for free.
Walk us through a typical Jenny DePaul day.
So I go to Newark or wherever there's a need, usually maybe two times a day, sometimes more. It
So what
really
time
just
are you
depends.
waking up in the morning? She's
Well-
so nice. She's not really. Okay, let me go deeper.
Oh,
What
gosh.
time do you wake up every day?
I get up really early, but mostly because of my family. My son gets up early, so I have to be there to make sure his needs are met. So I'm up probably around 5:30-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what is your morning routine outside of taking care of your child, your son,
I'll
your
go.
family?
Yeah, I'll go wherever the need is. So a lot of times it is Newark.
Okay.
So I'll go there. I'll meet with different people who want to share their stories on social media. That's a big part of Project Kind, is sharing stories. because I think that if somebody can put a face to the need, they're more likely to feel a connection. And I want people to understand that, people's backstories and what their dreams are, what they're trying to pursue. And then, so I'll share people's stories, and then I also do the mobile street outreach. So I'll be feeding people or, giving what people have given me, sharing.
And this has really taken root, right? I mean, I know I met you through a mutual friend of ours, and I know that family's not the only one that is come through. So why don't we talk a little bit about, let's name drop a little, right? Because if you don't have to, or you could you don't have to say their names, but you could say they're it's starting to catch on, and people are realizing that with these videos that you're doing, there is an identity and there's a face to homelessness. There's a face to illness. There's a face to struggle. There's a face, there's faces to happiness. There's faces to good and great. You're sitting right next to this guy. So you're making it real, whether they like it or not, right? And so what kind of support have you been getting in emotionally, friendship-wise? Like, who else has joined your brigade of help?
So I was fortunate enough to meet the Ellisons at the Toyota event when they gifted us the van. So Rhett is a New York Giants football player, and he was at that event and kind of saw what we were doing and contacted me afterwards and wanted to kind of be a part of Project Kind. And now he's on the board, and his wife's on the board. So
and his wife's name's Raina.
Yeah, Raina.
They're
Ellison,
both lovely.
Wonderful. So they've been a huge part of Project Kind now. They do outreach, they do events with us, and the New York Giants have really stepped up as far as monetary donations, and also putting on a yearly event now for our friends experiencing homelessness.
Great.
Which is coming up on Friday, actually. So
yes.
Yeah.
Well, but this is going to air past then. So is it a few times a year or once a year?
It's once a year.
Okay. So next year you're going to learn what this is. So talk to us about that.
The Worthy of Love Fest?
Yes.
Yeah, so the Worthy of Love Fest is a day where we celebrate the fact that everyone's worthy of love. So we bring 100 of our friends experiencing homelessness to Giant Stadium, to MetLife. And then the players are there, and we have our partners in kindness come. So there's about 120 volunteers, and we spend the day together doing spa services, lunch. Cornell is a speaker at the event, and then the hope is too that after the event is over, that the volunteers and our friends experiencing homelessness will stay in touch. So we're matching up people for the day.
Wonderful. Cornell, what's your message at an event like this? So we were talking in our earlier episode when we first met about how important it is being at a proverbial fork in the road, and there's messages that you need to give out. And what's your message at a Worthy of Love event as one of the prominent speakers?
Well, I think one of the biggest messages is don't give up and don't quit on life, because you're dealing with people that are rock bottom. They hit the floor. So the only way you can go is up, or you can quit and stop. So again, when we had our interview a long time ago talking about mindset, it's different going to a corporation and speaking where they have everything and they're going to the Mercedes, and then talking to a bunch of people that are going to go back out in the street. So it's just not giving up and just staying strong and fighting through all of, like we were talking about before, the mud, all the scrap that you have to scrap through all that to get to where you have to go. And it's not go from homeless to house, blink, and then you're fine. Like Jenny's work is not just that. It's now once you get that aid, what are you going to do with it? Because now you have to sustain it. And that's what's the most important thing, is like having that mindset to sustain it. Once you get fortunate enough to meet someone like Jenny that's going to give you aid and help you out, now you have to keep it going.
Do you think, Jenny, there's more, and Cornell as well, are there resources? Do we do enough? Or could we be doing more? And I know you're not the spokesperson for the whole entire epidemic and cause, but what could we be doing that we're not doing enough of to help people globally with homelessness?
Well, I mean, my experience has been that the system is broken, and there's a lot of people who need help, and either the way the system's set up, it's taking too long, or there's just not enough resources. So with Project Kind, the hope is to kind of fill in those gaps for people and to have the community come together. as far as providing them what's needed for them to move forward. It's really hard to get a job and move forward when you're, sleeping on the sidewalk. So I always think that housing first is really important. So that is one of my focuses, is to get people housed, even if it's for a few months until they can find their job and, have their mentor in place and all those things. So we're trying to create opportunities where everybody can be a part of someone's journey,
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now together, because you do a positivity summit. So walk me through, so a little pause on my near and dear Jenny DePaul. So you go all around the country and you speak. Are those always called positivity summits?
Yeah, so my events are called the Positivity Summit. I started the Positivity Summit. The idea came up in 2015. I was at a Tony Robbins event. A friend of mine and her husband paid for me to go to, because I couldn't sell my kidney to go. And
he's kidding.
No, I'm just joking. No, but I'm not. So I was sitting there, and I said, okay, well, this is cool. I said, the only thing is that only 1% of the population can afford to go to this event and to get this type of self-education. So I was like, what if I created an event where it wasn't just me speaking, it's people of different races, religions, dialects, that all came down to one area and shared their stories. And the second day we can do something philanthropic, where it's not just talking about changing the world or helping people, but we actually went and did it. So I wrote up the Positivity Summit while I was sitting there. And then the next year, we ran the first one in New Jersey, and then New York, Los Angeles, and this next one's going to be, the one that just passed was in England. And Jen came to the New York one, because I met Jen about 2 years ago, and she asked me to help her with just the social media component of Project Kind and a little bit of the structure. So as we started talking, I said, well, we're doing a outreach segment. Why don't you take care of that? So in New York, she kind of spearheaded the movement. So I said, okay, well, come with me to LA. And then I was like, all right, well, come with me to England. So then I just started bringing Jen around, because this is what she does every day. And it's very important for people to understand is you have to realize that the people that you're talking to are one human. And having Jen there and her being in the trenches every single day, it helped the people that were at the event realize you don't just run up and start taking pictures and videos and saying, oh, I'm helping someone. It's not about that.
No.
It's about the conversation and letting these people know that they're seen and they're humans just like you are. So I think it was just a natural collaboration.
Awesome. That's great. And so how can people learn more about Project Kind? And then I'll toss it to you with Positivity Summits. You want to go first?
Yeah, so Project Kind, there's a website, projectkind123.org, or we're on Instagram, Facebook, so you can go there. I post people's stories daily and opportunities for people to be a part of their journeys. So everything is through social media. If they follow along, they can join us anytime in all, lots of different ways.
And the holidays are coming up. And do you have a list of things that you need and locally for New Jersey, like what you're always in to help fill the kindness closets? Is there like a list for people?
Yeah, on the website there is a list
okay.
of our regular needs, which are for Mobile Street Outreach, and the closet are really, blankets, socks, toiletries, clothing, and pretty much anything. And they can go there, print the list out. They're easy things to get.
Awesome.
We'll take used things, new things.
School
supplies.
Come on, teachers.
Yeah.
The kids, every family brings in something small, and then on behalf of that class, it's a really big.
That's
even
right.
one person doing something small makes a big difference to our people.
Absolutely.
In New Jersey.
And schools, we have Project Kind clubs running in schools, so that's always something we're looking to add on to. That way the kids can be a part of everything.
And feel
that
good
Project
about
Kind
something
does.
and learn something.
Absolutely.
And then when they want to just get it to that next level, how can they get more involved and attend a Positivity Summit?
Yeah, my website's cornell-thomas.com, and everything through social media is Cornell Thomas. Or you can just reach out to me, cornellthomas365@gmail.com. And the funny thing is, whenever I give my email and say, hey, reach out or whatever, people are very surprised how quickly I reach back out. Because I believe that people come into your life for a reason. Like I met you through Jen, me and you met, and immediately within a minute hit it off.
True.
Right? So I feel like people, God puts people on our paths for a purpose. So if you reach out to me, I'll tell you about the Positivity Summit, see how you can help. Jen is not going to say this, but I will say it. we look for sponsors every single day, like every single day, like 24/7 hours a day, because this is what kind of we've been doing, kind of like out of our pockets to make it work. So anybody that wants to jump on and say, hey, we want to help this mission, please reach out and we will appreciate it. We'll give you hugs and high fives.
That's awesome. You guys, how do you know, like when you're in that moment of, again, at a crossroads, but when things go not so great in your way, like how can you avoid ending up in homelessness? Like, is there a way, or how can you avoid hitting rock bottom, whatever that is?
Well,
It's a tough
That's
one.
a really hard
I know,
question.
and I apologize in advance, but I mean, we can't just talk. We have to
Sure.
try to help in advance.
Yeah, I would say a great analogy is like if you're going down the river and you're just no raft, you're just looking for a branch. Like Jen is a branch, Erin Saxon is a branch. I would like to think I'm a branch. Rhett and Rain are their branches. Some people don't have those branches to hold on to that can just sustain them for a little bit.
Yeah, some people don't have a support system at all. So, you know, one challenging moment could really change their whole path until somebody comes along and you know, offers
So
them
without any
something.
branches, what can one do?
Without our branches, it's here, right? It's like
Right.
the mindset. Like you have to be able to sustain yourself long enough and not freak out long enough so you don't drown, and then eventually, hopefully, that branch comes, or you create that branch yourself. You know, the one thing about our country, you can say whatever you want about it, you can educate yourself on anything. Like you can go somewhere that has Wi-Fi, you can go to the library and Google, how do I become a this, or how do I become a that? And you can educate yourself. So I love the story of Pursuit of Happiness about Chris Gardner. And you see that movie and you're like, well, there's no way, this has to be sensationalized. No, that really happened. You know, that really, like he was really locking himself in the bathroom at night, sleeping with the sun, putting his foot up against the door until he figured out how to make it work. So there's stories out there of people doing what is coined the impossible. It's not impossible, it's possible. It's hard, it's tough, you're gonna struggle, but you can do it. And I think just having that hope and I always find like when I'm open to something, it comes my way, right? Like when I'm open to the possibility of meeting new people, I meet new people. When I'm open, like, but if you're closed to it, or you're really like cynical, or you get like really hardened, you're like, man, nothing's gonna change. You're right, nothing's gonna change. So I think it's just opening your mind and realizing the possibilities that are out there, and not just being so closed off. Because if Jen's Project Kind van rolls into Newark, and you're like, well, screw that, man, that can't help me. And you just walk away, you have no idea what can happen. There's been people that might have thought that and walked to the van and their lives have been changed. Now, what if they weren't open to that opportunity? They'd be in the same situation they're in.
Right.
So I just think it's kind of being open-minded and realizing that.
Yeah, I mean, there are people that I've still visiting, 6 years now in the same spot and having the same conversations with them. So sometimes people just aren't ready.
Does that get frustrating for you?
For me, I mean, I want more for them, but I can't make it happen, and it is up to them to actually,
Sure.
be ready to move forward. So I really do try to just love them where they are in the moment. I think everybody deserves food and to be warm, no matter what their decisions are. So I continue to do that. But there are many people that we have been able to really help them, and they're, not experiencing homelessness anymore, and they're doing wonderfully. So it can work, but Cornell is right. I mean, they have to believe it. A lot of the people that I serve, they've forgotten and adapted to what's around them and accepted it. So I'm really trying to just kind of remind them,
Well, you're doing amazing work. So Jenny DePaul, Project Kind 123, and Cornell Thomas. And your book is Extraordinary, The Distance Between Good and Great, Positivity Summits. And I'm in awe of both of you. So thank you, because I feel like knowing you guys makes me a better person.
Thank you. Trying to make us tear up today.
No, I mean, honestly, you guys do great work. And without people like you, I think we'd all be in a really pretty bad spot. So thank you. On behalf of the world, thank you very much. So please reach out to Cornell and Jenny, respectively, together or individually. They both could really use your help, and we all could use them. So let's give them support. Thanks again for being here.
Thank
you.
And everybody, on behalf of everyone here at That Girl from Jersey, See you real soon.
Bye.